Pisces return is really going to be about faith and stuff. So that's going to be happening March, April of 2023. So, we'll get into that then. We're still in Aquarius and we're well into it. So we pretty much have those themes there. So let's work on this cord cutting and removing. So it's more like maybe a cord pulling, but just removing the energy and just detaching it from you. This has really, really close ties to that recent total lunar eclipse, because there we had to give up some toxic codependent behavior in order to heal. So this is very much so in relation to that, and this is just some residual work that we are doing to kind of get that out. Now, I explained to those who caught the live on Array Tarot when I did the intuitive reading for that moon, that with that full moon being in Scorpio versus the eclipse we had last November, which was in Taurus, the theme was different. The goal for this was healing. You're healing the past because of that South Node in Scorpio energy, but the full moon was still in Scorpio. But Taurus energy is more physical, so you have to give something up. It is not an emotional, energetic thing. It is more of a physical routine thing. So you had to give up a codependent behavior, a toxic behavior, a karmic cycle, something that you live out in your everyday life. You had to give that up in order to heal. Things that we did to enable ourselves in our physical life from preventing us from healing, because maybe we never had the time to focus on our healing, or maybe we didn't feel like our healing was important enough, or maybe we pushed our healing so far down that we didn't even know what we were looking at, not even really realizing that these behaviors were enabling that situation. So we gave that up, consciously or unconsciously, to work through the healing that comes there. So you can work with the universe or you can resist it. Just surrender to the universe. It's always easier that way. And we gotta give up people, dynamics we have with people that don't work. And we need to celebrate the people in our life with good dynamics. There are many times that you may have toxic loyalty or drama with someone that you're just so grateful they're nice to you on a Tuesday and they treat you like trash any other day. That lets you know that that is not the connection you need to have. But there are people quietly in your life supporting you, amplifying you, not taking up space. But if you're in a constant state of trauma, you're in a constant state of anxiety, you are in that state of depression as well. You're only able to see the things that are vibrating at that level. But it's time to break that, physically break that cycle, and celebrate those people in your life that are quietly loving and supportive. And you cannot allow yourself to bring any codependent behavior into those interactions too. Sometimes that's why the focus might not be there too, because you may be used to being in codependent situations. So being over here means you have to learn to be autonomous. You have to learn to be self-fulfilling, and you have to work at a higher vibrational state. Just working through that energy. Yeah, baby, this takes some work, your healing. You surrender to the universe and you just allow those wounds to lay open to be healed by the beautiful healing rays of the sun. You shift your trajectory. You start moving from a more centered power. Okay. Keep breathing. And also understand, babies, there's healing in words too. Sometimes you can have a conversation with somebody and just them saying something, just the interaction that you all have together, like it's my intention for us to have on a nightly basis, that sets those energetic shifts as well too. That's why I'm always explaining things, because I know the healing can come through the words as well too. So that negative energy is just lower vibrational energy. And it's just a karmic cycle you're moving away from. That's all that is. Just a karmic cycle you're moving away from. A karmic cycle you're moving away from. Karmic cycle you're moving away from. Okay. How does your energy feel? Put it in the comment section, put it in the chat. I read those chats and read the comment section, so put it there. Okay. Breathe and let it go. You have permission to let it go. You have permission to not hold on to the baggage anymore. You have permission to not stay stuck in one part of your life. You have permission to just release and heal. You have that permission. Keep breathing through this. Keep channeling with yourself. So what I want you to do now is I want you to bring source energy. Source energy is what I would call like God, or whatever your particular understanding is of the unknown, the divine out there. There's no prerequisite to have to think the same way or connect in the same way. Hence, that's why I really enjoy this inclusive prayer that I created. But it is just your understanding. Sometimes it could be nature. A lot of y'all be leaning towards God, which I always find very fascinating, because it shows, as I don't know if you all know this, but you probably do, I'm a really big religious studies kind of nerd. But I actually like looking at different religions. Sometimes people like to concentrate on one, but I like looking at different ones. And we're going through this evolutionary change, or evolution of religion, from an anthropological and a sociological perspective. Right now, the way that we're looking at maybe some of the really large worldwide religions is we are becoming more spiritual in it. It is less about the religion and more about the spiritual aspect. And even the purest form of the spiritual aspect, which is called mysticism. So there's mystical aspects in whatever religion. It is called the specific spiritual path, of whatever that religion is. We are trying to fuse that together. We want to really live that, and then we are kind of moving away from discriminatory thoughts and practices that don't make sense. We are taking personal responsibility. We understand that you cannot look at somebody and understand where they're at spiritually, that it is all of our individual responsibility to take responsibility for ourselves. And that's a beautiful thing that's happening. So again, whatever connection you feel most comfortable with, pull that in. So I'm going to pull that in through the top and bring that in. And what this feels like is unconditional love. When you connect to the divine, it is simply unconditional love. When we are in spirit form, okay, as the soul enters the body, as it leaves the body, we are souls, we just have this carbon-based experience. But as our soul, enters and leaves the body, before we're in the body and after we leave the body, if we are at a, state of balance, yourself, that is just you kind of being in that spirit form and seeing things. So us as souls see the big picture. Us as souls look at the life that we chose and said, okay, this is the life I need for my soul to get this understanding. And as soon as we go into the actual body, then we are hindered by all of this physical stuff, and we forget all of that wisdom. But when we go into our prayer, our meditation, our channeling, or whatever you do, we can remember a little bit more. We're still, physical, so enjoy those physical experiences. I don't really understand when people just want to live all the way up here in the physical form. It's like, look, you got time to do that once you're, ready to move on in this lifetime. Enjoy this physical experience, because there's a reason why the soul wants to come into the body, because it wants to experience, it understands that the complex dynamic experiences in life that we have is a part of the soul's evolutionary growth. The soul changes forever because it's able to live out and to test things out. I've heard people describe this experience as being in the earth school or something like that. But that's kind of like what's happening with the soul in that moment. So hopefully this will relieve some of your stress. Another way that I personally like to relieve stress is I like to go on a clear night and look at the stars. And I put this up on my stories on Instagram. So again, if you like these like little things that I'm thinking about, or how my life is, I put it on my Instagram stories. It was this video where it's like the person was sitting in their room and it panned out in front, and it looked like, the map, kind of like a map, like if you're driving, and then it panned out to the earth, then it panned out to our solar system, then it planned out to our galaxy, then it panned out to all of the galaxies, and then it panned out to our comprehensible universe, just all of these things together, and it had a multiple universe, and it just continued to flow outwards and outwards and outwards. When we look up and look at the stars and know that these stars have been around for millions of years, and that our life is only a fraction of that, the things that stress you out really don't have to, stress you out that much. You will most certainly